I have never loved a show as much as I love Succession. It feels like I haven't been able to get it out of my head since watching the first episode. There's just something about the story, characters, mainly Tom and Greg, and the locations that make it so absorbing to watch. But there's one thing that ties it all together, and it's the cinematography.
L to the OG, dude be the OG, and he playing like a pro.
I think it's fair to say that Succession is one of the best shows on TV at the moment. The characters are refreshing and humorous, the plot is absorbing, and most importantly, on rewatches, you never want to skip an episode. But what is it about the cinematography of the show that makes it so interesting to watch? Because I'm not sure it would have had the same effect if it were shot in a more conventional way. In today's video, I look at what equipment they use, the use of an Observant Camera, as well as what goes into creating that distinct look, because it's a mixture of several different things.
What up, pricklicks? It's me, Dr. Moron. I'm a ding-dong doodle-bug dipshit. My dad hates all of you. How was that? Was that good?
Let's begin by looking at what equipment they used, as it's not really typical for TV shows at the moment, unless they are on HBO. Now, they opted to shoot Succession on film, more specifically, Kodak's Vision 3 500T. As many cinematographers will attest, the 500T is incredibly versatile. You can use it uncorrected on daylight exteriors/interiors, as well as for tungsten lit night scenes. It has a lovely colour saturation, plus the contrast and levels of detail in the highlights and shadows never fail to impress. The 500T delivers a unique, soft and truthful quality to the skin tones of the actors that you cannot readily achieve with digital. Is what cinematographer and director Anjali Parak, who shot the first 3 episodes as well as directing episode 6, said regarding the choice of film stock. They employed the Arriflex LT as their primary camera and then paired it with Leica's Summilux C primes and Angenieux Optimo lenses. The Optimos are great for their zoom capabilities, as this show is just full of them, and the Leicas were a great choice for night exteriors as they are extremely fast. Adam and I both wanted the same sort of filmic energy and texture to our image, although I also wanted to push the overall look towards longer lenses to create a more elegant, controlled photojournalistic perspective on the action, while also using zooms and crash zooms as emotional exclamation points to the story.
No! No! See?
So first of all, what does the Observant Camera actually mean? Well, to me, it's a nice way of putting that it almost feels like a documentary, in the way that we are observing the characters in such an intrusive way, yet unlike a documentary/mockumentary, they act like the camera isn't there, which is why I included the almost. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but there's almost a sense of reality TV about this show, and I say that in the absolute best way possible. The way we follow characters, have a multi-camera setup and utilise handheld just reminds me so much of shows like, well, I don't actually watch any reality TV, but I imagine Keeping Up with the Kardashians is shot in a similar sort of way. Before I move on though, I really need to stress that I didn't just compare the astonishing cinematography of Succession to that of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Anyway, the prominent use of handheld is probably what makes us feel so in the scene. When we are on sticks or a dolly in the show, we are stable, almost as though it makes us feel safe. And in an environment where something is happening all the time, it brings us out of the scene, whereas using handheld makes us feel as though we are actually there with the characters, and as though we aren't separated by a screen.
Eat up, piggies!
I believe he said, eat up, piggies. I want to see you little piggy fucks eat. Eat it!
To add on to that though, even when we are on dolly tracks or a crane of some sort, it's never perfect movement like in pretty much every other show. Whether they throw in a fast zoom or a quick tilt or pan, it just makes it feel a bit more authentic. The one time we do have steady camera movement, however, is in the establishing shots. Whether it's a couple of cars arriving at the PJs.
The PJs? No.
Elitist and out of touch.
Well, duh, but no.
Or helicopters flying through the city, these shots are always stable, and it just gives us a bit of a break from the frantic and energetic atmosphere of the show. To think a bit about perspective and angles though, it's pretty prominent and meaningful throughout, and it's not just because of Greg. We are often at eye level of the most prominent character in the shot. We very rarely look down on a character, and in fact I can only really remember looking down on characters like Tom, Greg and Willa. Basically anyone who's not one of the Golden Four. Sorry Connor.
Because I am the eldest son.
Alright.
Let's finish this segment off by looking at the improv of both the actors and the cameras though. Now if you've watched any interview with any of the cast, then you will know that there is a good amount of improv between them all, but also between the cinematographers and camera operators, as they are just told to go with the flow.
There's a family dinner scene that's the birthday for Logan Roy, and that's entirely improvised. I gave everyone their own conversation they were gonna have, and I just did the dolly track around the table, and we just circled the table for a full mag and did it like, 3 times in a row, and they were incredible.
The future cinematography of a show usually rests on the style of the first episode, which is why it was up to Angeli Parek and Adam McKay to decide on how to cover a scene, what lighting approach to take, what kinds of film stock to use, and really everything regarding the cinematography. Now, to put the look into a few words, it's clean yet raw, but above anything, energetic. Now, me saying clean yet raw might sound a bit like an oxymoron, but it is a very clean looking show. The shots are clear, the lighting is fresh, but it still has a raw feeling due to the movements and the fact that it's shot on film. There's a unique, organic soulfulness to film, which on this production paid dividends in helping to visually support the tightrope between the comedy and tragedy of an epic human story. Have faith in film, and it will definitely deliver. Let's look at where the look actually started though, and thinking back, it's actually pretty obvious. The Big Short not only has a very similar atmosphere to Succession, but it also has a very similar director, the same one actually, and Angeli Parek used it as a starting point, which is why he opted for Kodak's 35mm stocks. He also opted for a very minimal lighting package that allowed for cross-shooting, given the fact that there are multiple cameras. Effectively, this approach created an environment in which the actors never knew where the camera was.
But I can sue Greenpeace.
You're going to sue Greenpeace? I like your style, Greg. Who do you think you're going to go after next? Save the children?
Overall, the cinematography of Succession is some of the most compelling I've ever seen in a show. Angeli Parek managed to steal our attention in the first episode, and it's carried through to the most recent one. He mastered the use of camera movement and how to observe characters, as well as perfecting the raw and energetic atmosphere that is present throughout. I hope you enjoyed this video looking at the cinematography of Succession. If you have a film or TV show that you would like to see me analyse, then leave a comment down below. If you found it informative, a like is appreciated, and if you would like to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.